Hi, it's Heather Smith here. As part of my submission for the Accountants Daily Accounting Thought Leadership Award for 2020, one of the questions I needed to answer was detail the biggest issue currently facing the accounting industry and how you alleviated or capitalised on them in 2019. So it's a long way into 2020, and 2019 seems a long time ago. But I thought I'd share with you some of those initiatives that I undertook, and some of them that are still needing to be carried forward into 2020. Obviously, 2020 is very much about dealing with and supporting people during the pandemic, but that was not something that was even heard of in 2019, so not necessarily relevant for them. But let me go through what for 2019. So one of the first things that I see as an issue for the accounting profession is technology overwhelm. So on an iPhone, there are many apps, and in small business world, there are what's known as accounting apps. They connect with online accounting software, they automate processes and allow data to flow seamlessly through the business. There are hundreds of them, which has led to sort of slightly app overwhelm in the community. App overwhelm, have you heard of it? So to combat this app overwhelm, I produce a lot of content around apps, around accounting apps, around business apps, focused on educating the accounting profession. And I do this in a number of ways here via my YouTube channel, via podcasts, via newsletters, via forums, events, social media. And I do this to empower the industry to utilise apps and enhance their knowledge of apps. And hopefully that is helpful, and hopefully that is moving everyone forward in their digital journey. So let's move on. So the next thing, which is very relevant for today, and one of the things that I have embraced in 2019 and moving forward, probably always something that I have embraced, but it's something that you need to constantly learn about and understand and ensure you're doing the absolute best at, is diversity. I support diversity, and so I'm going to talk about where I have the sort of particular areas of control and have a voice, and that's how I support diversity. So I support diversity at industry events. In my event coordination roles, I seek out diverse speakers, and I've supported numerous women with the opportunity to talk on stage for the first time, or to talk on perhaps a podcast for a first time. Up to 80%. So that is quite a large amount, isn't it? 80% of my time can be spent sourcing female speakers. So I appreciate it's a challenge. I also have these behind the scenes awkward conversations with coordinators of diversity lacking events. So I do make a point of contacting event organisers who've traditionally had male only events, very male heavy events, and contacted them and encouraged them to embrace females. Notably, there's a few events around at the moment which have turned the corner, embraced diversity in the form of bringing females on board. Now, diversity is not only females, it is far more than that. It's youth, it's age, it's multicultural diversity, it's accessibility diversity, it's so many things. And sort of one of the most sort of obvious ones is the female diversity, sort of coming from my perspective, I guess. And interestingly enough, those events that were male-centric and now embrace some females seem to receive a lot of funding from sponsors. So the sponsors do recognise this, and they do come on board if the event is showing a reasonable amount of diversity. And of course, it's not diversity for diversity's sake. It's diversity because you get a vast, much wider range of opinion, of insight, of experience, and you get the opportunity, people in the audience get the opportunity to see people on stage or people hear people on podcasts that resonate with them. It is through that they can understand perhaps, and they can fill in some of the pieces of the puzzle of their own story and potentially move themselves forward. So one of the reasons I do enter this award is because a female has not yet won the Australian Accounting Thought Leadership Award yet. So I really am hoping 2020 is going to be the year, and there's a lot of strong contenders, strong female contenders up for this leadership award. And I'm not going to lie. I probably should be more political correct about it, but I would like to see a female win this year in 2020. So one of the another initiative that I have been pushing for in the accounting profession is centered around bullying. Someone who has witnessed and survived sort of some pretty toxic bullying. I'm an advocate for tackling bullying in our industry by identifying resources to help people so that they can be survivors rather than victims. And I encourage organisations within our industry to promote these resources and to offer safe avenues for people who are experiencing bullying. For many of the events I facilitate, I will declare to attendees that these are a safe, supported space, and will provide them with resources if they feel that there is any issues there that need to be addressed, and we will actively address them. And I think it's a journey. It's kind of, bullying is a very strange and bizarre and hidden behaviour, and we need to constantly learn what resources can actually help people, because I think when I was going through it, I didn't even understand that that's what was happening to me, and I didn't know how to reach out for support. Now, finally, one of the fourth things that I was advocating for in 2019, and I continue to do this, and I hope, if nothing else, this is something that people will take forward with them, is we have a problem with accounting student numbers going from schooling into universities and then out into careers. It is dropping because the media, which is so large, is drowning out the reality of the situation. They're constantly telling us, they've constantly got these media hooks that robots are taking over the jobs of accountants and bookkeepers. And that's not actually the case. Robots are taking some of the workload, some of the process-orientated work, some of the repetitive work. But, and I know I shouldn't because this is 2020, but in 2020, when the tax stimulus packages, the JobKeeper packages dropped on our laps, and many accountants across Australia had to deal with them, you know what? The ones who had the robots in the background were able to push the work onto their robots while they sat in the forefront with their clients, with their customers, and held their hands and talked with them on Zoom meetings or on the phone. And they were more human and had more interaction with their clients. Many of them have told me that they've ever had before. And the robots, if they didn't have the robots in place, if they didn't have that automation in place, then it would have been a much more difficult situation for them to navigate. So the robots, the technology, the accounting apps actually enable us to be more human and more in front of our clients. And I do think that the accounting opportunities are vast, are exciting, and are diverse, and you can travel the world with them, and you can niche into any particular area, and accounting doesn't necessarily have to land you a job in the Big Four, pushing a pen. It can be so much more diverse, so much more interesting than that. And I really want our community, people and the members of our community who recognise this, so this is a call out I do for you, is that you contact your local school and offer to come in and talk to them. Just once a year, come in and offer to talk to them about an accounting career. Now, at the moment, again, we're in a pandemic, so that may not be possible, but potentially what you could do is you could do it via Skype. And I know I've actually got Skype or Loom or Zoom. You could actually connect with them and do it virtually. So I do encourage you to reach out to your local accounting teacher, be they at a school, be they at a university, and say, look, I'm here. I'm actually working as an accountant, and if you need to talk to me about the realities of being in the accounting industry, I'm here for you. And if you need me to talk to your students, I am here for them. And if any of them have particular questions, well, perhaps I can answer them. And I'm not suggesting you spend a huge volume of time on this, but a very small amount of time with a particular class, concentrated, sharing that information with them can have a massive impact on a student and on their career. And if we all do that, we will have this amazing talent of accountants flowing through, so we actually have some on the other side to employ, because we need them to filter into the system so that they're then able to filter out and join us in our businesses. So I do encourage you to reach out, offer to give career talks, to share insights, and to mentor people around you about the diverse career opportunities available to accounting graduates. So there you have it. There were my 4 initiatives of 2019, and I wonder, many of them are still very relevant for 2020, and many of them may be something there that you can actually latch onto and embrace as well, and take with you into your life and into your community. So thanks for listening, and all the best to everyone who is up for the Accounting Awards and the Accounting Thought Leadership Award. And fingers crossed we have a female win this year, okay? Thank you.